is here back with me. Sorry for the disruption that we had in the stream. It's out of our control. The game did crash. It's where in real life you have your cars crash and break down, parts degrade, and all that have you. We have to deal with the technology side of it, where that can crash. So it's an equal balance out, if you ask me. But in about 2 minutes or so, we are going to get back to the racing. I do not believe that the time has been adjusted from the 3 hours. So we're going to get straight back into a first lap, just as you had it before. Maybe different events will transpire. But the same order does resume. So we hope we can get everybody back in that was watching before. It's confirmed to me that we are live. It says in the description, says it in the chat, so it must be true.
So just to hope we can get some of the fan base we had back from earlier. So I think I think we had about 16 people at one point.
Absolutely. It's what makes it all worth it, covering these sorts of events. It's you, the fans, that come and watch. You can give the real spectacle that is esports racing, actually building the community up so it's enjoyed on the track, it's enjoyed off the track, it's enjoyed by us, the spectators, and it makes the whole community well-rounded, well-balanced, and it means that maybe the people who you're watching on track today, if you race in other events in FRL or just even in the broader community, that's what it's all about. Make sure whatever you watch, you can get watched back, you follow back, like, share, subscribe, and we all have a really good time. Obviously, we are to bring you some of the last sporting action of this weekend. Obviously, we've had an evening of boxing last night. We had Formula 1 this afternoon. We had some football matches later on as well, none of which I'm going to spoil for you, just in case you're one of those that needs to record for convenience in your life. Well, I've quite enjoyed myself this weekend.
But this is why we finish the weekend on a high, you know. We bring FRL, fantastic racing, and so as you said in the first stream, I'll say it in this one, anything racing, anything with wheels, FRL is the place to be. We cover iRacing, GT7, Assetto Corsa. G Brown likes it on WRC because he looks good going across the dirt rather than the track.
If you're going to go sideways, might as well do it in a game that allows for it.
I thought I'd just throw that in there just to make Brown happy, but other than that, say please do get involved, guys. I think some of the admins will be in the comments to obviously get a link for the Discord. Anything racing, sim racing related, or anything like that, FRL is the place to be. And obviously, if there is a designated number that you do like on track, do make sure you do get involved with the Patreon side to reserve your number, get some of the juicy action behind the scenes before some of us commentators get it, before we get it in a pre-race briefing, and I can't say my words right, so you get better powers than us, so that's better to be a patron than a commentator, so there's always that, and so do make sure you get involved, guys. It's a fantastic place to be.
And obviously, if you do commit your finances towards FRL, you can help improve the standard of your commentary.
Yeah, I can get speech lessons. That'll be a good one.
Lessons.
I can get speech lessons. Greg can get some glasses or an eye test because he thinks a McLaren's a Ferrari. Where do we start?
We're ailing people.
Ailing people. I mean,
just
speaking
need a
of
bit of
ailing
investment.
people, Van der Waal can get some anger management lessons or punching lessons from that poor
Go to one of those
Marshall
anger paint rooms to Van der Waal.
Laguna Seca's come back again. Vengeance has come to get him.
But nothing like it, Silverstone.
20 seconds.
So, as we did find out for the first time last race, it is literally just a roll to the start line. And away we go. There is no full formation lap. It's literally just around the bend to the timing line, and away we go.
And there we are, rolling. The timer says that we're rolling, and off they go. So as soon as they get to this start line, Bonham will put the hammer down in a reasonably controlled manner because of the wet, and set your 180 minutes endurance of Silverstone going once again. And shame on you,
So-
all of those that haven't rejoined for the start of this race again.
So
There's
just
Bonham.
to mention as well, from Friedman last race as well, NRW Performance starting from the back, made up some fantastic places, but so try to jump to Bonham.
Yeah, he just went
Does
across the
get
cover,
ahead.
Sween initially. But he does get away well, Sween.
So
Goes
he
from the
does
outside
get
to the
another stab
inside.
at the lead. So Bonham nearly checked out before the stream crashed. So he's got a second chance at stabbing at Bonham in the Banging Ducks racing team.
As we've got car 368, who I've just noticed has probably jumped to the front of the timing boards because of the way that ACC loves to work. But Bonham has got away very, very well. The 69 car, very, very fast. Says Kleekia. If I've said that right or said it wrong, please do let me know. All the cars, bar car 638, which is ailing behind, do seem to be coming through quite smoothly. We've got some timings now as we watch Rackett and Harvey going at it once again.
Brewer's
That's resuming
gone.
from.
As commentators cursed that. Brewer, on my commentators cursed him. Had a fantastic start last race, jumped up 10 places in about 8 minutes, spins himself, and is now behind car 368.
Just watch Rodriguez take the scenic route around Club and onto Hamilton Straight and has rejoined ahead of Sproston, who Van der Vault, who these timing screens all over the place. Is Prentice, who's trying to go round the outside of Hutchinson in the Porsche. He's got himself alongside as he comes down the Wellington Straight off the loop. They're still side by side. The Mercedes, I do believe, has slightly better top line speed, and he's going to pick up a little bit of a slipstream from Rodriguez in the Ford ahead. Cuts across to the inside, covers that move off,
Drifts wide
and onto the grass, and that's going to allow many cars through. So long, old evening. He can get those back, but for now, he has to settle for a few positions lost.
Oh, Rogers there going toe to toe with a McLaren.
They just jumps up towards the front. G. Harvey in the middle of a coal pits Rackett sandwich. Lots of Mercedes power in 3 different manufacturers there. As they come through Maggots and Beckett's. They just look like Rackett behind. And a bit of fun as he came through Chapel with a bit of a drift and a slide. And the front two, just as they did before, is edging away. And I've gone down to
He's now at the back behind Brewer.
Just watching Hanley jump up the inside of the Bentley of Prentice, who then cuts back. Gets himself alongside as it comes towards Brooklands. Not Brooklands. Round Club corner.
Out of all the years I've known you, buddy, that track map never fails you, or that track book never fails you.
No, I've actually opened a laptop and pulled it up this time, but I looked to the wrong bit. Sorry, as we're picking up Wazza towards the back in the grey Bentley, who was very, very close to the back of Mason there. He's got a lot of company behind him. He's got the HRT Ferrari trying to go around the outside, but ahead got Mason, who's trying to throw one down the inside of Omarov into the loop, pushes him out as they come round Aintree. Is this going to invite Wazza in? It has done. He's alongside. He's got the clear track on the inside to do it. There's another Ferrari behind. HRT fancies 2 in 1, and this is going to go well. I think there's going to be a touch. Oh, he's kept it well over the curb, and I thought Wazza's just going to get edged out as they come through Luffield and onto Woodcote. Further up the grid, Van der Waal racing a common competitor of Heyman's ahead in the Ferrari.
Wazza on the inside of Omarov, does get the move through Cops. You've got HRT Spike trying to make a advantage of Omarov going slightly. Ooh, nearly has a bit of a tap there. does unsettle HRT Spike there, so Omarov then does jump back past him. Oh, I see the Mercedes-Benz having a big snap there. Tulloch in the Benzatron 5000 team.
But he does seem to have regained it quite well. Alright. Timer screen's updated. He has lost a few positions there. As the HRT Spike team are throwing one to the inside and does get a move done on the McLaren of Omarov. To Vale and out of club.
Oh, McLaren and Lamborghini have a bit of a touch there. Omarov is bleeding places here. He let Lamborghini past. Now I did just see a Ferrari go past. Car 777. Brewer making up places.
Brewer,
commentator's curse once again. Getting a big drift on the curve from Abbey. Now he's going to get a nice braking point to resettle his car into village. Yes, he can.
So I've noticed up ahead, Wazza has got a great drive on Mason as he comes out of Aintree. He's going to pull out any moment now. Here he goes.
Yeah, Harvey had a bit of a moment.
But Mason covers off as he goes to remove himself on Harvey. Wazza is a little deep, finds himself to the inside. This is a great move how he's manufactured this. That was a move a few corners in the making. Then he gets a tap to the rear. But the power of that Bentley has allowed him to drag away from the two cars behind. But yeah, great move there as they head towards Copse.
There's interesting strategies now as the track has changed from the settings and the temperatures it was earlier. So it was looking to be a wet race. It is now damp at the moment for the foreseeable. Let's say tactics do come into play. The drivers that had 2 or 3 drivers are advised to do the same stints to make it fair, but obviously it is all to play for. Ooh, car 69 and car 98 towards the back of Maggotts and Beckett's yellow flag. Who are they?
So they're upgoing again. I just jumped forward to Tezakowski.
Omarov, who lost out there, and car 98 I can't see on the leaderboard because I cleared any glasses.
And this is why you need to join the Patreon, guys. Oh, as we've just gone, we'll go towards the back there. Wasn't quite it was another Bentley. But Wazza is involved in a whole bunch of stuff as well. He's got Mason HRT Spike swerving out to get a look at him. You're very welcome, Mr. Brown. Brewer.
Oh, we got a Porsche there. Who is that? Handley going off in village there. Wazza then moving past. Oh, there's a car behind. Who was that?
Mason, who's then been compromised. Now the HRT Spike car look to get over the curb and get through. Yeah, he moves to the inside now. Very confident on the brakes, finds a gap. Brilliant move. And settles his car to the middle of the track, and he should to cover this off to the next corner. But he does get a little bit squeezed by Mason on as he comes out of Woodcote. And he's going to have to fight this one all the way to Copse. I think he's just going to squeeze him out before he gets there. Yeah, as he moves ahead. Two cars in the space of as many corners for
Jay Mason. Jay Mason and G Harvey is in the gravel trap at Copse. Does well to compose himself and rejoin safely.
Jumps on board back with Tezakowski. He's throwing one on into Stowe.
Ferrari just missed out on Vale there. Who was that? Did just miss who it was.
Oh, as it just got Tezakowski, who's had to gather it up massively around Vale. He's managed to keep his car going straight. He's lost out on his battle there, and that's going to invite Heymans to take a move up the Hamilton straight.
little bit of weaving. I've just seen Jay Prentice doing well. The timing's not updated, but Jay Prentice has got in front of Sproston, Hutchinson.
Yeah, that's what looks like a group that you're going to want to. We've had to return back to that group quite a bit, so he'll be very happy to have escaped that for now. Oh, we've got car 114 off track.
Oh, I might have to in touch there, buddy. You've got a good line. Heymans, Tazakowski, Van der Waal going very deep on the brakes there. Can he get the car? Oh no, he spins it. He spins it there. Can he rejoin safely? Oh no, there's a Bentley coming. Watch out for the tic-tac.
As he moves to the outside, he gets himself going. Very intelligent driving there on the rejoin. As he finds himself immediately in a fight with the Mustang of what I believe is Rodriguez.
So I think we might have to put all the marshals under witness protection after Van der Waal spun it on the grass there, just for their own safety from Laguna Seca. If you haven't watched Sprint Sunday, do make sure you watch it. Van der Waal did punch quite a few marshals.
Oh, sorry, we're just going to board with Wazza, who's making a move into Maggots, squeezes him into Beckett's. Oh, they're still there. He should get the advantage as he comes onto the hangar straight. So through Chapel they go. Oh, as Townsend has to bail out. And then jumps back on it. My God. Oh, no. Who? Sorry, was that?
I think that was Rogers.
It was Rogers.
Car 241.
For a moment there, I put a pitted car in my view.
I think Van der Waal just took out some signposts, took out some frustration for the F1 style pit lane, doing his bit for...
Not the environment, it's against the environment. So we've just picked up Richings in a very colourful Ferrari, who's coming round Vale.
I don't know about you, buddy, but I can see on my screen a double fastest lap.
I can see that. If you don't mind checking the timetables for his retro, that may well mean that two drivers have done the same time.
Exactly the same.
Wow.
There you have it, folks.
That's
so
new.
206.137 is a double fastest lap.
You saw it here first in FRL's 180-minute.
That's it. That's where you got to sign up, boys. FRL's where it's at, mate. Double fastest lap, yes please. Or as
We're
Jay
doubly
from
as fast
In-Betweeners
as you.
Say, wait, as Jay from In-Betweeners would say, completed it, mate.
Double fastest lap, complete it, mate. Oh, as I've just picked up Prentice going really, really tight up the National Pit Straight.
Oh, car 32, yellow flag for Woodcock there. It's normally where you spin it, isn't it, Woodcock? Your number?
I mean, I spin it everywhere.
Oh,
that was the Bentley of Wazza.
Oh, had a nosebleed, too much time in the spotlight.
Absolutely.
Oh, just further ahead, HRT Spike and Richings having a good fight into Maggots and Beckett's.
Oh, as Richings gets one hell of a drift. But he gets going again. Comes through Chapel now. I do expect him to be mildly compromised, but he does seem to have gathered it up just in time to make a reasonable bit on the straight.
The 296 Ferrari versus the 488 Ferrari. 296 lets for the inside. Big on the brakes there.
Most people would say it's just a number. But the HRT is making it work.
Who's going to be braver on the brakes?
Richards has got to go for it surely. Oh no, he gives him the space. And that allows HRT Spike to finish that move off. He looks pretty beaten up already.
It does allow Harvey into the mix in that Aston Martin. Oh, lets off a little bit there down the Hamilton Straight. Now this tricky part, rounding Farm. Is Harvey going to look for a move into Village?
Both get a little bit of oversteer.
Big move on the brakes there.
Oh, he goes a little deep. Both do manage to continue, equally affected. Probably a racing incident, but Harvey found his way to the outside and is probably going to get better drive onto the Wellington straight.
Oh no, I don't like look at that. I did just flick through the pack there. I jumped onto Brewer as he was side by side with Jabinho in that lovely pink Lamborghini. Oh, big tap there.
And Harvey does get through. Oh, no, but Richings does cut back, but to the outside of Luffield. It's still ongoing, this, as they come through Woodcote. But I do think Harvey a bit further ahead now has finally got that one sorted.
I think it was Spanu that was slightly going slower. I'm not sure if he had a moment or not, but he cut across the racing line, so Brewer got the great drive into the corner, but the car next to him, Jabinho, had to back off a little bit to avoid Spanu there.
So it's brought to Retro, but we've got Jay Prentice in the very, very bright Bentley, making a move into Stowe. Onto the inside of Hutchinson, but just hangs it around the outside, gets over the curb. Prentice dips in again, tries to cut back to the inside, elects to go for the outside into Vale, bounds the curb massively and loses out. Oh, it looks every bit done there, Retro. Until it wasn't.
I don't think that move into Vale and Club was minty fresh from the Tic Tac Bentley. So I think Zukovic has clocked out.
Also, I've just caught Dial's Retro cutting on the inside of Spanu. No, in Jabinho, sorry. And lovely move coming out of Club onto the Hamilton straight. Very simple. Just found the inside line, a bit more traction, and without drama, cuts ahead. Just dipping up and down enjoying Dials, who's just going to attempt to escape. Jabinho, who's very good on traction, I would know, driving my Lamborghini. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for the action. We are relatively settled into this stint of the race. We are 20 minutes, or coming up to 20 minutes in. We had a good amount of overtakes, not too many people dropping massively far back, but within a 3-hour race, those who are that far behind do still have very much opportunity to work their way back in, whether that be through their own efforts or by handing over to a faster teammate. Ooh, Spanu pit manoeuvred. Just been informed by Mr. Gordon Brown.
Oh, he had been pit manoeuvred.
Ooh, by who? I think I missed that one.
Yeah, so I think that's why he was quite slow down a Wellington straight, and so he did move across that incident I was talking about, where Brewer did get a great drive into the corner, but just unfortunately Jabini had to back out, but hopefully it doesn't affect their car too much on the team driver handover, whether they're going to try fight with damage or get it repaired.
Yeah, Spano definitely does look a bit worse for wear. He's got the HRT Spike car coming up behind him. He's closing at a rate of knots. Looks a bit more confident on the nose. Does HRT Spike. Spano drifts wide. I think this would be a good move into the loop. If not into Abbey. Shows his nose, but smartly doesn't commit there.
I think that's why we can have confirmation from G Brown there, as he is his teammate. I just looked through the time there to see.
HRT Spike rounds the outside of the loop and makes a very pedestrian manoeuvre on Spanu there.
Speaking of pedestrians, Rodriguez got very deep on the corner there just before Woodcote.
And he's then bumped Prentice. Prentice does regain the car. Prentice is now... That's Tulloch, sorry. The timing screen.
Say. This timing screen. If only we could fix that. Oh, F. Rodriguez gets a big snap on the exit of Cops there. Thought he got the power down just about the time, but did not. But keeps the car going right. He now's how got himself vulnerable to Tullock behind. So maybe Tullock's going to have a bit of revenge for that tap just a few corners ago.
The Ferrari that's tailing Tullock, I believe, is a lap down. It's not Brewer. Car 114.
That is Jay Mason in P28.
Right, yeah, so lap down.
Yeah, there's a couple of cars. Say Bowring has already pitted. Or sorry, whoever was driving before in the team NLR. So I'll just check that on the timetable screen, just for anyone's interested.
As we are starting to see some drivers weaving around.
So Jay Handley has jumped out to let his teammate Bowring take the reins for a couple of stints, or a couple of laps.
So I just picked up that Prentice swerving on the Hamilton straight to go and pick up some damp patches, potentially his tyres overheating. As far as I can tell, Retro, we are pretty much down to just a spit. We are really starting to lose the weather a little bit.
Well, it doesn't seem to be changing, say, from the weather screen from what I can see, but say maybe the drivers might be experiencing something different on track. We can just see the rain icon, but say maybe it is getting a bit dry in certain parts of the track. Obviously the faster sections, the technical sections, that's where people are really going to feel where the car's reacting to the damp and the dry.
So I've just gone towards the front of the grid, Retro, and picked up Heyman's, who's really drawn in close on Colpitts here. This front battle has managed to become quite spread, but we are starting to find that drivers are starting to close in. Same with Rackett, who's closed up onto the back of Sween now, which is really interesting development for the lead of the race, if he can overtake and maybe then go after Zukowicz, the two equally fastest men on the track. And now Heyman's is having to escape Prentice here. That's Jay Prentice in the Bentley, who's chasing him down the Hangar Straight. I'm just going to go forward to Rackett in the Mercedes, who has definitely got the attention of Sween, who goes a little bit defensive on the exit. Zukowicz, who's out ahead, will be seeing this and be hoping to put the hammer down as these cars start to engage in a battle.
So Mercedes does very well on the brakes there into Village. Now what can you do into the loop? Getting a nice drive there. Sween not quite getting the traction he wanted now. Aintree towards Wellington Straight. Oh, big snap there on the straight of the kink of Aintree.
So Sween goes mildly defensive. Will there be a dive from the Mercedes into here? No, he holds it. McLaren, a very well-rounded car, choice of many, seen by some as the go-to choice, or some not necessarily an OP car, but one that almost everybody gets along with. So Rackett just hanging in there. I think as long as they don't lose touch to Zukowicz, I think he might be relatively happy staying in that place. I go back to Prentice, who is still behind Heyman's, but have now picked up Colpitts. Sorry, they've all three have drawn close together. Was Heyman's who was chasing Colpitts initially.
Oh, I think there's an out of place car here. We've got Spano, who did just come out of the pits. So whether he tried to pit for a driver swap or just to repair the damage. That car looks a bit better than what it was, but he's now come out at a place just in front of M. Grace in P4.
So I think the Bentley of Jay Prentice, he did get a great exit, but out the slipstream seemed to really struggle, which is very uncharacteristic for the Bentley. But he looks like he might make a move into Vale now. Goes elects for the outside.
Oh, Colpitts gets a big snap there on Vale curbing, then into club curb. Jay Prentice trying to look for a move on Heyman's. Oh, big drift into Abbey there.
Just about holds it together for now.
Keeps it relatively there for Farm into Village. Big on
He's
the
got Van der Waal
brakes.
for company. Equal traction from the two cars. So they're neutralised for now. Goes to give a little bit of love for further down the grid. Just picked up Sproston, who's another one who's swerving for bringing down the tyre temps.
Yeah, so just in El Prentice do the exact same.
Now Wazza having to defend from Omarov, who's... there's a Ferrari there, who's out of position.
There's a Ferrari facing the wrong way. Who is that? Car 241. That is Rogers.
Omarov, who looked for a move on the inside of the loop momentarily. Swings out for a bit of water, as does Wazza.
Oh, I'm going to interrupt you there, buddy. Oh, who was that? Car 37, Cops. Big tap and a spin there. Car 37.
That's Colpitts.
Colpitts.
He does reverse out and gets going again, takes a cone with him.
Just for good
as he
measure.
rejoins into a bit of a gap, thankfully for him.
He can't take the cone like Mario Kart, mate, unfortunately.
He does get going again. We'll pick up whereabouts he is in just a moment. Drop down to P9, P10.
Oh, Heymans and Van der Waal going at it. Into Stowe. Van der Waal does get in front. Heymans fighting for grip there. On the outside, Heymans had a lovely move on the inside. Gets the braking done. Can Heymans fight back?
Van der Waal goes marginally deep, but does collect it up the wide line, working for him on traction. They have let Jay Prentice escape them a bit now, and we just pick up Hutchinson. Yeah, Hutchinson. Bring up the rears.
Speaking of the rears, we've got Wazza, who has overtaken Sproston, but it's not quite updated on the timing line there, but Sproston was sniffing at a move into club there.
Two cars with different variations of grey and green. Sproston goes looking for water.
Fight for some of the water there.
Still no update in our on our information screens that there's anything less than continuous rain throughout this race for the next half an hour. Potentially drivers will be looking for a very long initial stint to see if they can get onto a dry tyre. Heymans super close in the back of Van der Waal. And thank you so much for everybody that's still with us, still joining in with the stream. It's very nice to have your company. Oh, Heymans goes a little bit deep as he came through Beckett, and that has lost him some time to Van der Waal in his quest for P7.
So we do have another car out of place. I think that is car 114, Jay Mason there, who has got a good train behind him, the Mustang of F. Rodriguez and Tulloch in the Benzatron 5000.
Just picked up Takazowski, who is really putting the pressure on Grace here. All the while with Jay Prentice.
He's going for a move.
Throws his nose in. Does hold it well. Always has to pull his nose out so he doesn't get tapped round. But he's managed to pick up the traction again. Equalised between the two cars. So no benefit there. But it looks like Prentice.
So I believe that is an out of place car, Spano, that is up with Tazakowski and Grace there. So Spano is up there with the leaders, so hopefully he doesn't impede them or damage them during their battle.
But it does look like Spanu has some good pace, so it's up to them if they choose to let him back through. But this is definitely affecting Spanu's progress that he'll want to gain back. This is obviously...
Ooh!
We've got a car
Jay
54.
Pearson going for a spin on the grass.
Oh my god, get out of the way, get out of the way.
He nearly did there. That was rash cut there, car 66 in P3.
He now gets up to speed on the hanger straight, but it was very hairy for a moment.
That could have gone very sideways just as much as he did.
Heymans reasserting this gap between him and Van der Waal. He's picking up a slipstream, coming on a hanger straight. All the while, Van der Waal does seem to have the straight line speed over Heymans.
But speaking of straight line speed, it doesn't matter about the speed and the straights, buddy. Heymans has closed the gap to Van der Waal in...
As he throws his nose on the inside of Vale.
Van der Waal goes deep trying to defend it. Heymans then fights back, gets alongside,
and through goes Heymans onto the Hamilton
Great
straight.
Move from Heymans there.
Choreographed, they'll be buzzing about that one. Everybody loves taking that move through there. The question is, can he hold on to it? He's got a bit of a drift going through farm. Regains it into the slow speed. I do personally think he's got this one covered. So we are going to go and pick up HRT Spike, who has picked up Diaz. He lost this position a little while ago, but he's not let go. The commentators curse. Let's put him on the curb and has spun him wide. He's repicked up his car and he's going to have to find that time all over again.
So got a little bit of jousting there from Rodriguez and Tulloch.
I've just seen Wazza have to let car 777 through of Bauer, and I think that's a genuine position loss there. Went very deep into Village Corner. Now we've got Sproston on the inside. Jabino in the Lamborghini gets it done. Textbook move there. Oh, as that's car 777 of Brewer. Oh, he's then been tapped. I say more than tapped. And that other
Omarov, car 69.
Oh, when it doesn't rain, it pours in Silverstone.
It does indeed, buddy. So both pink cars there, the McLaren and the Lamborghini.
Oh, sorry, Retro. I'm just going to go up towards P5 and P4. Tizakowski is really on the back. Rem Grace here. We have a car out of place of Spano, as we previously mentioned, following behind. Zakowski gets a great drive, but having to get out the throttle. He's lost a bit of his downforce and has to back off momentarily. But he's dipping and diving, looking for any chink in the armour of M. Grace's defence. M. Grace wants the outside line here, wants to drive round.
Ooh.
Spanu
does very well to avoid him there. Just riding on board with Spanu to get a great view of the battle in front. And so Spanu got a bit close for comfort there.
And Spanu's clearly got a lot of pace to use, but this battle is all enthralling the P4. He doesn't want to take him by surprise. Oof, as Tazkowski gets a little bit snaky once again, M. Grace just keeping his cool might just get him that cushion gap that he's been after so dearly. As car 777 of Bauer has returned to the pits for some repairs, maybe a driver swap at the 35-minute mark. Got Tulloch, who's having to defend.
Might have some damage here.
So Tulloch, who's recently got the move from Rodriguez. Rodriguez coming back. Looks for the outside of Abbey. and loses out, just can't find the traction around farm. Oh, sorry, wrong bit of the track. Saw a fast left. Chose not to look at the track map.
Ooh, he's getting very close to Grace there, but Grace does get a better drive. He just gives himself a little bit of breathing room into Vale.
And Spano getting very, very impatient. Zakowski. Oh, as Grace gets a bit of a snap on the exit. Pulls back onto the track. This is going to give Tezakowski a great run. As they're almost flat out through here with a minor lift in this rainy conditions.
Oh, Grace getting a bit of a slip into farm.
Oh, as he does the switch back.
Move.
Well managed by both drivers there.
And again.
And that's going to compromise him. Spano runs into the back of him. Oh, disaster. And that allows the Bentley of Jay Prentice through. It just caught Spano out, who was following so closely. And once again, doesn't rain, it pours. Car 54 has now got a drive through. Going up to P13, Oleg in his Porsche, having to watch the Mustang of Rodriguez swerve around to try and cool his tyres down. Harvey,
right up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's the distance he closed in that corner of Brooklands, looking like the man most likely to go 500 miles for this overtake and get it done. So composed as that Aston Martin.
Rodriguez getting very over the curb in there. Harvey nearly joined him.
Yeah, it's like Rodriguez just really, really suffering on his tyres at the moment. Sliding again as he comes around Beckett's.
So
this might be 2 into 1 here.
He does dictate on who goes where on the corner. So that big old Mustang, not as nimble as some of the lighter cars on circuit.
Oleg needs to start pushing him into.
Oleg, he's gone. Oh no,
he gets turned. Harvey. I mean, I don't think Harvey had any chance to avoid that really. Such a fast corner with a very, very tight, usable line in these conditions. I don't know how he's managed to stay in a straight line himself.
Well, now Harvey's now looking for a move on.
Oh, as he gets tapped by Rodriguez, there's a bit of a snap. As you see another black Ferrari in the background. Into Abbey and through. As Rodriguez elects for the grass. And there's the Ferrari of Rogers showing his nose to the inside. Yes, it is.
HRT Spike
looks for the cutback, Rogers. Just so much extra confidence in that Ferrari. Oh, that's HRT Spike. My apologies. Rogers. Go on, Rogers.
So we also do have the Owls, who's joined us. I think he started from the pit lane, on the start of this race, or didn't have quite the start he would have wanted, but he's found himself back into P16.
At the moment, we've got Rodriguez just bleeding positions as he taps round. He taps. Who was that he tapped round?
HRT Spike there. Ooh, careful, buddy.
Gets himself sorted. Gets himself away. If he can stay onto the inside, he should rejoin cleanly. Off he goes. Such a shame.
Oleg does dive into the pits. Is this going to be a driver swap?
Also just picked up Prentice, who's on the inside of Hutchinson.
Ooh.
And they've also invited a Ferrari into the mix.
I think that Ferrari's an out of place car.
And Prentice still to the inside. He throws it. He absolutely throws it, and there's a bang.
Oh, he taps. The Porsche.
He sends Hutchinson
of
wide.
Oh no, they've both gone. They've both gone. The Mercedes and another car. I can't quite see who.
That was the out of place car. Of the Ferrari, and another tap, and that's allowed Rogers through. Oh, and they've gone round again. 2 cars off the track at Vale. Carnage ensues. Rodriguez comes back through. Apprentice causing absolute carnage.
Is Jay Mason that was involved in that, the Ferrari. So
40 minutes in, the drivers are already starting to get tired on their stint. Errors are starting to come. As that Mason just needs to get himself out of the way. He's got blue flags and he's cutting through the pack like he belongs, fighting them. As he then taps the back of Prentice. Now Cole Pitts should get 2 in 1 with a better drive. Let's box Mason in. Also got Dials who's going to want this. Oh my goodness. What is Mason doing? He's being far too feisty for a car that's a lap down. He's trying to... I'm quite sure what's going on here.
I'm not quite sure whether... Did you just see that? It looked like whether... It didn't look like a brake check or it was a lag or something, but say... The Mercedes pulled away. Oh no!
Mason gets himself
pulled
out
away
of shape
from him, but then pulls himself back to him. Whether it looked like a brake check or a connection or a net code, but
I didn't catch that. I was on board with Prentice at the time. But yeah, Mason really needs to work out what his involvement is here. He may want to unlap himself, but he needs to do it.
Oh, I just missed that. Van der Waal has found himself back past Heymans as they're fighting tooth and nail into Vale.
As Heymans goes a little bit wide on the curbing, loses out under traction. Further back we see Tazakowski getting a bit snappy. And then Alien Rodriguez has now got Hutchinson behind him. Rodriguez, who's been and further back, still going on. Prentice has retaken that position from Mason, the lapped car. I mean, if you're going to overtake being a lap car, you need to really have at least a decent delta over the cars around you for it to be worth it.
And speaking of lapped cars, we do have the Tic Tac Bentley barge closing in on Spano, running quite close enough to warrant letting him pass. Quite a few cars coming out the pit lane now. This is going to get spicy.
They should see him come in. One elects the curb, one backs out, then taps the other one. Oh no! And then that sends the Ferrari. Was that Spanu that's just gone round?
That's Richings 104 in the 488.
As he rejoins.
Very close there to Van der Waal.
I've just picked up Luke Prentice. He's got 2 cars ahead of him of Cole Pitts and Hutchinson. Now he's come through this section really, really nicely. Hopefully he's not had to pull out too much throttle as he comes through Chapel. Cole Pitts flicks to the outside of Hutchinson. Porsche versus McLaren into Stowe as we get a little bit of a lag jump. As they touch coming out of Stowe, and that's allowed Prentice up the inside, and he gets the Porsche of Hutchinson. Now goes after Cole Pitts.
So all the out of shape car, Jay Mason It's just hit the Porsche.
Oh, it just goes from bad to worse for Hutchinson. He wants to watch on his rejoin. Brown coming. He does well. Spotting that. So,
I think Jay Mason's having the race he would have wanted for a 180 stint.
So somebody may just want to have a word with the team members in that, just to make sure they're engaging in blue flag operations correctly.
Oh, I did miss. Zukovic has pitted, so Sween has now taken provisional lead.
The Sween's still ongoing. The car behind him is 368, a lapped car, I believe. Yeah, 368. That is of M. Noor.
Oh no.
Sounds like something you'd say up in Yorkshire, yeah. Oh, Azukovic has got a stop-go penalty of 30 seconds.
Oh, absolute scenes.
I think he's sped in the pit lane.
He did. So now he's now being caught up by the pink McLaren of Kalugin. A new name that we've not seen this evening yet, but say a fantastic sprint Sunday driver that we've seen a couple of times. Can Kalugin get a look in on the Ferrari?
As multiple cars now dive into the pits.
R241's Rogers, so I'm not quite sure whether Kalugin wants to fight that, but Rogers is P7 and Kalugin is... He was just a minute ago, P25, so I'm not quite sure why Rogers has let him pass, but maybe it's something, if any of the team members are in the chat, to let us know.
So crucial at this time,
has now swapped.
Bonham
has now got to serve Zukovic's penalty.
Yeah, so they, in the number 34 car, are the net leaders. They're the top car that has pitted. But crucially, that stop-go 30 seconds is going to drop them really far back, which does very much promote Sween into the lead.
Rackut has also pitted as well.
So yeah, they're just sat in their boxes now.
Prentice in the tic-tac Bentley, slamming on the brakes, not get speed. Penalty.
Almost like you've had to stop on track there to get that stopped.
Yeah, Heyman's diving into the pits. Harvey, I think it's where the dominoes are going to start tumbling. Benzatron 5000, Tullock is now coming to the pits. Bonham now coming to serve his 30-second stop-go.
And we'll keep all eyes on Bonham for what happens to him. We've also got Rogers, Rodriguez, there's a very strange line in, Colpitts, and Sween now back out on track with a huge lead from his opponents, having had Banging Ducks displace them.
Oh, not to mention that M. Grace came into the pits, unleashing Friedman in the Porsche. So whether he's going to make a few places up here.
So he's got a little while yet before he comes past the pits.
Car 444 penalty. Tullock the Benzatron.
Oh,
stop
disaster.
Go penalty.
So there's one more position back for Bonham. Equalised with that car and that car only.
Car 666 on the side of the track. Reveal yourself.
Rackut.
Oof.
He is still showing us P2.
We'll
wait to see once it goes to a sector.
Or maybe he's pitted and his strategy's put dry tyres on instead of wets.
I mean, we are still showing wet for another half an hour at least. That's car 25 off at Cops. That's Rodriguez, who is thankfully back going again. Or is he just slow, letting cars through out of the pits? Doesn't seem to be damaged. Oh, as he completely messes up Beckett's.
So
Finds a very
Friedman
different
has
way onto the
jumped
hanger
up
straight.
into P3. Does overtake the Tic Tac Bentley. Oh, Jay Prentice to take P2. He's now got to chase down Sween.
So kind of knows that Friedman, through all the pits, I mean, I was quite sceptical of how many he'd get with how far he was around the track, but he has found himself in P with a net P2 with Jay Prentice
So
not having pitted
Sween is the only driver racing for Aries or Racing, so obviously Sween's not going to be having any driver changes, but obviously tyre changes. So this may be an absolute slug match between Friedman and Sween.
I mean, fresher minds in the French Connection team, we may start to see Sween ail mentally towards the end. Tulloch now has still got 2 laps remaining to clear that. The fastest lap does still stand for both Rakut and Bonham, Mauritia Racing Team and Banging Ducks. Bonham, as we mentioned him, has faltered from the trouble that he did have speeding the pit lane, but has come back out, found himself in P7 and has overtaken Van der Waal, so he is in fact in P6, which is ultimately a net P4 with 2 drivers ahead of Tulloch and Prentice still yet to go into the pits.
So there is going to be a hell of a stint. 2 hours and 8 minutes left, so there is obviously going to be another pit stop to play along somewhere.
I've just picked up Clayton chasing down Serfontaine in the R2R GB's Aston Martin, chasing down the blue Ferrari of RW Racing Serfontaine. His Aston Martin is looking very, very poised this evening. I've seen a few people that I know switch to the Aston Martin recently. It seemingly had a patch and a scratch, and it's rubbed off all its ailments and has made itself quite a good race car.
Speaking of race cars, so obviously just to go over some of the driver swaps that we are seeing, obviously Serfontaine has now replaced Heymans in the blue Ferrari. Obviously we've got Bonham that obviously swapped for Zukovic as well. Friedman has swapped for M. Grace. We've got G. Harvey that has swapped for J. Clayton. A couple of names.
Sorry to interrupt you, Retro. We have got Arco and Prentice. The absolute tooth and nail through Maggots and Beckett's. There was a tap as he went through Cops. Rakut went flashing away at Prentice, and he's alongside now, coming down that hanger straight. Looks like Prentice has elected to put Rakut on the outside. And I think he's just going to lose that into Stowe unless Rakut can really throw it around the outside here. He does just about keep it on the track. Will there be a touch on the exit? Yes, there is. Rakut will push along. He goes over the grass, bounds. Will he still find an inside line? No. Prentice. Really stern, robust defence against Rakut. But then Rakut's going to throw his nose up the inside as he come around Club Corner onto the Hamilton straight. Prentice slides out wide. Rakut's on the inside. Is he going to have it? No, he cuts back it behind Prentice. And this goes on for another lap.
So it's funny to mention, you mentioned about the Aston Martin. Clayton went toe to toe with Serfontaine. He's going to get a nail.
Oh, and Rakut does dive it up the inside and gets it done. Sorry, Retro.
Oh, where's Serfontaine gone there? Oh, he's still in the mix, Serfontaine. The Aston Martin of Clayton and also Prentice fighting for P8 there.
And looks like Serfontaine's had to really crank his steering there. He's lost a lot of speed. And he's got Porsche of Naught behind him as well.
So you got Car 500 Clayton in the mix, Serfontaine in the mix, Colpitts in the mix, Prentice and Noah in the mix.
So yeah, Colpitts, who had an incident earlier on and is still yet to pit. He's got
743 going for a move. Prentice.
Oh my
into
god!
Village.
A Serpentine dives at the inside, catches Colpitts unaware and does get through, and so does Nor. Colpitts was not expecting a car to have diving on both sides. As the Mercedes apprentice goes searching for water once again. Like an elephant in the desert, he knows where it is. And Colpitts, the biggest loser out of that engagement there. He's lost about 4 places. Now we've got Mr. Gedman in his garishly yellow Porsche with a weirdly matched blue rims for Maya Motorsport.
Oh, he must have done it for us just to make his car even brighter than what it normally is. It's not quite tennis ball yellow this evening.
Who needs one of those special Breitling watches with the alarm when you've got that thing to be found in the wilderness?
Had to put sunglasses on to watch Gedman go around track.
Even in these conditions. But as we pick him up, he is chasing down Caldwell in the Iraq Survivors Association. And he's going to have to survive this onslaught from Gedman. He's just dropped back momentarily as he slides around with his rear. So Prentice hasn't quite escaped this battle for P9. He's still got Serpentine Noor chasing him. Colpitts has dropped back off the back of this battle. I'm not sure Prentice needs to go that far to the wall to find water. Unless his Mercedes team has literally got a hose out to that part of the track.
Well, I'm not quite sure, mate, but say Jay Prentice in the Tic Tac Bentley is doing very well to hold P4 at the moment.
Man, he's still managed to put enough fuel in to not have to pit. Is he engaging in some fuel saving, maybe? To extend into the dry, if it ever comes?
Who knows, buddy?
I've just gone back on board with Fenrir Sim Racing, who's now got Schmidt in the car, formerly Dial's. And he's managing to get away from Caldwell, Gedman, and HRT Spike behind. HRT Spike still yet to pit. Gedman seemingly doing very, very well around Brooklands and Luffield. So find good traction onto Woodcote. But the Cops just seems to drift that little bit wider. Just loses a bit of speed whilst Caldwell goes after Schmidt. We've just gone down to P23 to pick up Richings, who's still yet to pit. He's still trying to mount an attack on Maserat for NRW performance. He is chasing down Tulloch, who's had earlier incidents. He was much higher earlier on. As Colpitts has finally called it a day on those tyres, and just another brick in the something. That's all it says. Next to the pits, and we expect there's going to be a driver change there. He's been in for an hour.
Yeah, that's all it says on the timing screen. All it says is just another brick in there, and it stops.
I mean, that just opens it up for interpretation, doesn't it?
It does indeed, but so speaking of interpretation, we do have Maserat chasing down the AMG into Stowe on the inside.
We did have Schmidt interpreting how you take the farm section, cutting all of it.
So formerly was, I think, Brewer.
Nor's throwing up on the inside of Serfontaine. Serfontaine comes off better with the touch. Nor gets turned in Brooklands.
On the grass. Bright green bottomed Porsche is not only bright green for the livery, but also the grass as well.
Apple bottom Porsche spins on the curb. All the
Oh
commentators
no!
are looking
Don't get
at
copyrighted.
her. Gedman's still on the back of Goldwell. Schmidt having to continue on the back of this after he lost a lot of positions cutting through farm. How's Friedman doing? Last time we checked on him, he was waiting for a few cars to pit, and now's found himself chasing down the leader. Currently 17.7 seconds down, but I believe that is a marginal improvement as to where the team found themselves before the pit stops.
No, I think it's slightly increasing. You know, I think Sween's on a mission, but it's nice to see we haven't got the double fastest lap at the minute. It's gone back to
Rackett in P3.
Rackett, yeah, who has done a 2:06.067. So I think it was a 1:67. It's now an 07. So
yeah,
the fastest lap from Rackett was only done on lap 3 or lap 4. Was his fastest sector 1. So he's definitely got some time to play with. The fastest lap was purple sector 2. So there is definitely some time for improvement there.
Absolutely doesn't matter if you get taken out of the doors in a race this long, you and your team can bring it back to the starry heights of FRL's 180-minute endurance race around Silverstone. In the wet, nonetheless. Plenty of people can spin, so can you. But if you manage to avoid the spin, you can win.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I've just called up Rutchings. Has got Tulloch. Nice breather now for Dazza. What is it? Pop a can. Say hello to your nan. And me off going again.
Are you okay?
It's been a long day.
Papa can say hello to your nan. What? I just popped on mute for a second so I can have a drink so the stream wasn't engulfed with me sound like I'm eating water. I thought I'd just mute myself and nearly end up wearing it because you're talking about popping a can saying hello to your nan.
What can I say? It was the first thing that came to my mind in a rhyme.
See, this is why the patron's there, just so we can develop in our own language, and clearly Greg needs poetry lessons.
The Gedman is still working on trying to get Coldwell into Stoke. Neither of them quite perfecting the corner. They come out equalised as they enter into Vale. So as we are 4 minutes past the hour mark, we have had most of the drivers elect to pit so far. We've still got some outliers of Prentice, HRT Spike, Spanu, Richings, Tulloch, and Colpips. Unsure at this point why the Prentices are staying out this long, or why the drivers towards the back are waiting out this long. But we'll wait to see towards the end of the race how intelligent those decisions that were made are. Got HRT Spike on the back of Schmidt now. Schmidt, who was there a reasonable gap behind him for a while. As Gordon says that he's back in the car in 3 laps, wishing him luck. Absolutely, we wish you luck, as we wish everybody luck. So I'm not sure how much luck you consider yourself if everybody has it.
Well,
Smith.
I think you'd be considered very lucky if you can escape this race without commentator's curse. I think you'll be in for a good shout.
Schmidt has a big snap off the exit of Cops, and that has allowed HRT Spike through. Like a split second decision there. Throw his car up the inside, and he's made it work. And the position he's been chasing, P6 of P15. He's been after for a while. He has now got.
Gedman does seem to be a little bit more closer to Caldwell, but did have a moment there. So he's now just lost the little bit of time he did gain on the McLaren. Does close up very nicely through Vale. Struggling for a little bit of traction there.
Just seems to losing out to the McLaren on the straights. In the technical sections, he does seem to be doing quite well, carrying good speed through sections like this, through farm. We've got to be looking at him for comms cursors to work, Kyle.
Oh dear, there's always one, isn't there?
It's like,
oh, Prentice has finally pitted.
oh, as Gedman drifts around Brooklands. There's a lot of time to Caldwell and it's twitchy again. Well.
I think that was a curse for the wrong admin there.
Just ricocheted and hit Gedman.
So Uno reverse carded. Oh, and once again, Cops. Oh, just about gets that Porsche turned in. That now does allow HRT Spike to close up to Gedman.
So Gedman has been struggling on the straights in particular. HRT Spike has had a great Brooklands and he's already showing his nose to the inside of Village Chapel. Village Chapel.
Wrong part of the track, buddy. Are you sure you got that but the right way around again?
I'm just glancing to it. Me no read so fast.
Oh, Gedman gets a big moment there going off track. That might have been the limits there. HRT Spike showing his presence to Gedman now.
Gedman forced to go a little bit wider. He might have wanted
back out of it there.
Yeah, Gedman really dropped off now. It's dropped 2 seconds to Caldwell ahead. So this is the fight he's now having to engage in. Just definitely not what he wanted. One small drift to the rear to cause this scenario.
There, buddy. Rackut is looking for a move on Friedman for P2. He's got the inside for Stowe. Great move from Rackut there to overtake Friedman. I think Friedman must have had a moment because he's bleeding time. We last saw him at 17 seconds to Sween. It's now dropped to 24.8.
So what can Rackut do now that he's got the track position? There's still nearly 2/3 of this race left. And off he goes. Now, will Friedman be able to do anything initially to try and fight this back? Or does he follow Rackut through to Sween? Oh, he does show a little bit of a nose. And it looks like this move is Rackut's to keep, at least for the time being. Oh, as we just caught, I've just flicked onto Wazza and he's hit Serfontaine in the rear. Serfontaine had a moment coming out of Stowe. And he was all in the grass.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And re-enters into Vale. Doesn't seem to be too damaged. At least not on his nose.
Oh, we've got HRT Spike again sniffing for a move on Gedman. He's a lot more side by side now. Or gets a big snap on the exit there. Does well to not go sideways into the side of HRT Spike. Did not torpedo into the side of him.
HRT Spike gets that one done.
Now into Farm. Gedman going to be brave on the brakes for a move on the inside.
He is brave.
Feathers the brake. Doesn't quite get it done though. Did see him lift off there.
Once again, the straight line speed of the Porsche just losing out once it's lost these positions. Friedman only losing a few tenths here and there, but I think it's shown that he has lost this P2 at this point. I did just flick over to Maserati, who has made a position on Spano. We just missed that. And now he's got the Tic Tac Bentley coming up his inside. Just to dive in. Spano goes relatively deep. Can he defend it? No, he cannot. Through the field. And Prentice is going to drive away out of Woodcote. But he does get a little bit loose on his rear. But now Spano does eventually come into the pits.
Just jumped on board with Clayton, trying to chase down Faster. I'm assuming that is K Faster. And so there's a little bit of a look into Vale down the Hamilton Straight. Did back out of there, just try to find a bit of water on track to cool those tyres down. Ooh, as Faster is getting all slippy slidey into Farm. Now into Village. So just making his presence known, Clayton. Van der Waal is slowly catching these two as well. Friedman is still hanging on to the back of Rackup there. Wazza is still also hanging on to El Prentice as they do come down the Wellington Straight.
So yeah, closest battle on track now, the Bentley versus the AMG Mercedes of Prentice. 242 has the drive through cleared, it said. I'm sure that said. But we go back to the action. Was it now to the outside of Prentice as they go through Cops?
Did you get a switch? Or does get a good drive, not quite good enough, I don't think.
As they scythe through this incredible section. It's all about setting up your speed for the Hangar Straight.
Oh, was a big drift there in Chapel.
Did look like Prentice just had a little bit of a rear loss coming out of Chapel though, so there might be equalised coming down the straight. Wazza's Fanners up on the inside and alongside. It hits the brakes. Did look like Prentice was a bit more confident, but then drifts deep and looks like Wazza's got this one done. Great tactical driving there from Wazza.
Oh, Van der Waal's across the grass. Not quite sure what happened there. It does seem to be an out of place car.
So for Kyle's amusement, it has G-Round hasn't necessarily spun it, but he has got himself a drive through to serve. Unfortunately, so this is going to drop him quite far back. I'm not sure what that's for. I can only presume at this point in the race. I mean, only just swapped into the car. It'll be from speeding in the pit lane. Just searching for the battles for you guys. I'm showing that Rodriguez has been in a lot of fights this evening. Quite close. And has overtaken Schmidt, it seems. Spit, another one that's having to look for the wet patches. The G-Brand does tend into the pits. I'm just on board to rack up for a moment just to see how he's doing in progression with his fight onto Sween.
The gap was about 29 seconds at the last time in line.
So 29 seconds again. So we're at this point in the race, approaching the halfway mark. We have got a very, very stretched grid. Still got a few more drivers still left to pit.
Drive through for track limits. That only appears to be Schmidt, car 35, in the Bentley.
And Schmidt, obviously, we have seen through the grid when he completely ignored the farm. So I can't help but think he's probably earned that in what we've seen so far. So we've gone on board with HRT Spike, who's found Serpentine in P11, got quite a gap to the next car. Ferrari versus Ferrari. What can be done? Serpentine has had no shortage of incidents so far this race. Doesn't get the best exit there. Out of the loop.
So just stayed on board with Rack Up there. He's gained over half a second towards Sween since starting this lap.
Serpentine really looking like he's struggling with the car, which is amazing considering that he's got HRT Spike behind him, who's yet to pit. It seems to have a significant amount more car control. HRT Spike cuts the inside. It's not always wise to show your nose at cops, but he backs out of it appropriately. Oh, as he gets too much speed out of the exit of cops and spins Serpentine round. Serpentine, who finds himself in the wars once again. Excuse me.
Once again, Rackut is on an absolute charge. Nearly another half a second out of Sween's lead.
Well, if Sween's watching, we don't know if he's going to respond to that in quick succession.
Rackut's commentator's cursor, he's gone deep. He's gone very deep into Luffield there.
Thank you for him. He does have Friedman, what was 6.5 seconds back. He comes around the same corner now. There's Colpitts for company. The Friedman has cut that down by about 2.5 seconds, so I'll be happy for that.
As we've just seen Friedman go all over the runoff for cops.
We try and cover everything, Rogers. We may or we may not. It's been a long time in this stream, a bit longer than me and Retro normally used to doing. So attention is waning in this settled time with the track. We're trying to keep ourselves concentrated, trying to bring you all the action.
Have you seen the comment from Stu?
Yeah. I'm trying to get us sacked.
Oh no. Oh no, I mean, we'll probably get cancelled before we get sacked. You're copywriting and...
Is this where we do a commentary Hail Mary and make sure we get cancelled before we get sacked by Rogers?
Yeah, that's it. Don't worry, lads. We're all
Go
cancelled.
full Jeremy Clarkson.
Hammond!
Hammond! Power! I've picked up Noor, who's found Prentice in his purple Mercedes, coming down the hangar straight. Van der Vault is marginally ahead, closing with Prentice, but no. Just picked up the pace in the middle of the race. And he's going to start putting the pressure on Prentice here as he finally starts putting some pressure on Van der Vault. So this three-way battle for P8 here. It's really going to start heating up. As Prentice,
I just saw Gedman doing some lovely 11s sideways for Stowe.
as Prentice, despite having to pull his tyres, is holding this position nicely. And all out, still closing in on Van der Vault. Oh, as he goes deep onto the grass, commentator's cursor, and then that sends Noor with him. And that allows Van der Vault to get away. Which one's been more affected? Noor stays in the slipstream of Van der Vault. Prentice goes to find the wet patches again. I'm pretty sure his tyres would have been cooled down enough by the grass. Van der Vault hasn't really escaped.
Tactical move, that, doesn't it? Put your wheel on the grass, get it cooled down.
And that was a car sideways. It's car 999.
That is faster in the Ferrari, who does now drive back into the pits.
That's one way to have your car pointing in the right direction for the pits. As Van der Vault goes defensive, goes very early to the wide line to Maggots and Beckett's. Prentice does look good in this section of the race. Takes the wide line, he's maximising his exit. Oh, and look at the closing speed he has on Van der Vault. Which side does Van der Vault send him to? Comes back to the middle of the track, then back over to the right. Make sure Prentice is on his outside. Prentice has got so much speed. Has hit the brakes really wide. Will he wash out here? Van der Vault does cut in ahead. But can Prentice cut back? Does cut back, but then as the cutback thing is that he slots in between the two cars. Oh my god. He then throws his nose to the inside
bit of a tap
of
to
Vail.
Van der Vault.
He then goes a little bit deep. Van der Vault might come back through. And then Noor manages to get Van der Vault, but then goes deep. Slides on the outside. Can he get back in ahead of Van der Vault? Yes, he can.
Did he gain a position off track though?
I think he had it before, but he failed not to lose the position. I personally would have to consider handing that back. Oh, as we go on board with Gedman, and Gedman
never mind. Oh no, Van der Vault, unlucky. So we did have Noor, who did try a dive on the inside of Prentice for the loop. Did tap him, spun him round, and then Van der Vault came round and hit Noor, and then spun him round. So Van der Vault did get the place back only because he hit him to spin him round. Could have gained 2 places there, but had to suffer with 1 and a bit of damage.
All the while, Prentice benefits from all this contact engagement. And he says, "Thank you for P7," albeit still not having yet pit. So it's quite a stint from Prentice being in the position that he is, still not having pitted.
So without having any more commentative curses, I think Gedman's really struggling with that Porsche tonight. Every time I seem to look at him, he always seems to be drifting around the corners.
Well, that's the thing, Richard. He's trying to find a way back to his father, the sun. Like, it's so bright. And he's just, the rear's just dancing.
He's going to need all the help from the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in that bright car. So if he wants any chance at a decent finish, but say an hour and 35 minutes left on the timer. No sign of relief from the wet stuff. Shot cross surprise. It's a British track called Silverstone, and the wet stuff is basically a fan favourite and part of the furniture, really, when it comes to racing at Silverstone.
Absolutely is. Gedman has got unwanted company coming up behind him. I believe that's a car out of position. But if he keeps drifting around like this, he's going to have to give that position up to the lapping traffic, which is not what he wants.
That is car 4, Bowring behind him, also in a Porsche that does also have a stop-go 30-second penalty.
It's all happening at the halfway point of your 180-minute Silverstone Endurance Sunday. Just rolls off the tongue, Sprint Sunday.
That's it. Just £2 a month, you can sponsor a commentator to get in the commentator that you deserve. Myself is included in that.
Was Friedman now in the pits from P3? I can only think that this is a pit to the end for the French Connection team. As he starts falling down the positions. Oh, as we pick up Rodriguez, who's overtaken Coldwell, yet to be registered on the timing screens.
Oh, 215, yellow flag in the loop. Is that Serpentine? It is.
That man is having an awful time out there. And here for Gasoline, just want to compound the problems. Pops his Ferrari in the slipstream.
Not quite sure whether that was a tap or a moment, but they did look very close in the corner there.
The two drivers that have been absolutely marred by contacts and spins.
Getting swamped there. Richings did just dive past him like he was parked up.
And Serpentine elects to go to the pits. Now got on board with HRT Spike. Lando can move on Vanderbilt for the outside of Vale. And he's got the Porsche of Nort still engaged in this.
Be interesting to see though, that was a little short stint from Friedman that has now released M. Grace back in the French Connection Porsche.
So Vanderbilt doing what Nord did a few laps ago and using the very wide off-track section to maintain his position. Not sure how HRT Spike will be feeling about that.
Car number 4, Bowring, clearing the stop-go penalty, the drive-through penalty that they had.
Now, Gedman, I think, has got past. He's got a car behind it. In position 27. He's got a lap car who's just dived up this inside. Finds his way to the outside for the loop. What does he do here? Does he let him through? Yes, he. No, he's fighting him. Really worth fighting the back marker. Oh, Gedman almost loses it on the Wellington straight. And now got Diaz coming up behind him as well. Diaz is no slouch. Also lapping traffic. Well, unlapping traffic. Edmund just looking like he's having an awful time controlling that Porsche out there.
Oh, Van der Waal on the grass on the exit of Chapel. Does let...
Oh, as Van der Waal. He's lost a few positions there. HRT Spike.
Does let Karuna through down the straight. He's bleeding places now. So I said it earlier, make sure the marshals do go into witness protection after this race. Van der Waal may unleash a few punches.
As Colpitts finally commits to the pits. It's almost exactly the midway point of this race. No sign of HRT Spike coming in. The HRT team don't know when to call it quits. He does have Karun. That's Serpentine that's behind him.
I believe that is Heyman's.
Heyman's, my apologies. Where's Heyman's?
Yeah, Serpentine and Heyman's are sharing the blue Ferrari. The very nice sky blue Ferrari.
So Heyman's, yeah, who is a lap down. Yeah. Heyman's, who we know to be very fast. Be looking to cancel out the blue flags with the blue car.
Yeah, there's HRT Spike in P7 that Heyman's has just overtaken.
And now Van der Waal goes to
rear ending. Very close to rear ending Heyman's there in P7 from HRT Spike. I know drivers are entitled to unlap themselves, but do it respectfully. Without causing any carnage or any chaos.
So further back from HRT Spike, we do have Karuna, who is trying to get through some of this traffic here. So, oh no, that's full position. That's HRT Spike now that Heyman's has been allowed through. So I don't know if HRT Spike will be ruining how that was managed, seeing as now he's got Karuna all over the back of him, coming through Abbey and Farm. There's a little bit of a drift from both drivers there. We've got the McLaren of Zukowicz also getting engaged in this. The Karuna's had to give up. We always had a bit of a moment through the loop, and that has allowed Zukowicz through.
Yeah, Karuna doesn't seem very happy about that.
He had it all in his hands there and just couldn't find the traction out of the loop. Zukowicz on a march. Oh, just twitches the nose. Oh, and HRT Spike finally into the pits. Just after the halfway mark of the Grand Prix.
So Wazza is in the pits. HRT Spike is also in the pits. So quite a few margins now, a couple of lapped cars in the mix all over the place. So Rackut is now 26 seconds behind Sween. Sween, who has clocked out, but obviously he is a one-man band. So obviously he needs to manage his pit stops for the race to make it fair, to make it fair and square. Obviously if we want to do that, then fair enough. Obviously drivers were advised or encouraged to make the stints as equal or fair as possible, but obviously without too much tactical mind games with gaining, say, time or places, because you've only got one driver, 2 or 3. And so just flicking through all the pack now, we've got Rackut in P2, as I just mentioned, is in the pits.
Maybe one final sprint to the end, get himself out, put his teammate back in.
I think we just did see Gedman overtake Clayton, who is in P3. I think Gedman's finally warmed his tyres up, so stopped drifting around corners. So no sign of any let up from the wet stuff as we do approach the 1 minute 26 mark. Clayton is diving into the pits once again.
How are you finding Gedman at this point in the race?
Me?
I can't find him on the list.
He is car 79, he's just about to enter Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, sorry, it's Hutchinson.
Yeah, was confusing.
I didn't see it swapped. That is my apologies.
Thought I was going loopy.
Well, maybe that's probably why the car's driving straight and not sideways, because Gedman's not driving it anymore.
I mean, yeah. Hutchinson, yeah, really starts to put the leather through it. He's got a bit of a mountain to climb to get himself towards the top 10. However, the cars ahead of him of HRT, De Van der Waal, Brewer. Not had too much from Cablo this race, nor Sproston. I think are newly in the cars.
Buddy. P13, Brewer is giving it to Van der Waal on the inside of Village. It's a nice little move done on the inside there. Is Van der Waal then going to fight back? No, he fends him off for the inside move.
He's just, once again, just loses the rear a little bit on the exit of the loop. And immediately finds himself half a second behind. With Cablo in a tic-tac Bentley. Closing in.
Ooh, commentator's curse! That wasn't very minty fresh, but he did keep it on the tarmac.
Less tic-tac, more toxic waste.
Way. I think less tic-tac, more dib-dab for the brakes and the throttle maybe.
Look how fast he's back on him. What's going on with Van der Waal at this point in the race? As he goes off, commentator's curse is really starting to follow the drivers around.
We've got the leader, Sween, who's just come out the pits, is now found himself in the middle of lapped traffic. Van der Waal is all over the place here. Sween does find a nice little move there.
As Cablo, I think, will try and capitalise from this. He does. Look, he's already up on the inside. And he is ahead of Van der Waal. Great play through the blue flags. As Cablo goes quite deep, almost collects Sween. And Van der Waal off again. We are the worst. We're worse than Ferrari's strategist. Struggled with the setting. Great pressure the whole way. Conditions were difficult to read from JH Racing. I mean, yeah, just trying to continually set the pressures right for the amount of rain on the track, whilst also then trying to go after puddles.
I mean, puddles are your expertise, buddy. What's the advice for tyre pressures? Ooh, we got Sproston going for a big dive on Van der Waal there.
Yeah, just
barging his way through.
Van der Waal then having to get out of the throttle as he pulled up behind Sproston on the exit of the loop. I mean,
that was naughty.
I mean, for those who are interested after the race, ask me for it in the Discord if you'd like. I've got a clip of me doing a lovely pirouette at the start of Mons after hitting a puddle in a straight line, causing chaos behind, but touching nothing.
From his point of view, he looked like he didn't do nothing wrong. But to all the drivers behind him, I feel sorry for them.
I mean, you should feel sorry for anybody who has to drive behind me. They must feel awful being that slow.
I know. Anyway, Van der Waal does go back into the pits.
So we've now got G. Brown, Mr. Gordon Brown, who's now back in the McLaren. Oh, as he almost runs into the back of Grafe there, who takes over from Richings. Brown going quite the long way round, letting Zukowicz through. Gets a nice slingshot there. He'll be back on Grafe very, very quickly. And they've got Heymans closing on in this battle as well. Heymans has had no shortness of incidents. And look at that, just like that. Grafe hasn't had a good place to really let the leaders through. And our G. Brown, as he comes onto this straight, should have great traction, but he does get a little bit of a slippity slip over the curb as he went through Chapel.
I think Brown might be feeling a bit confused. Normally we see G. Brown in a great big Bentley barging his way through on track, but he's now in a McLaren this evening, which is interesting to see. So maybe he's used to the Bentley grunt to make up for the mistakes, but we do have a car right behind. Haymans has also joined this fight. Haymans and Serpentine, two guys that have been in absolute wars this race.
So it goes through Abbey in a pack of 3. So Brown's closing up on this nicely. As they think about Heyman's behind.
Grave does fend the inside for a dive bomb, but does run deep to allow Brown an inside switch, but then does fend off nicely. Can he get the drive? Haymans is still there.
His first phase wasn't great, the second phase was okay. But then he was put off by Grave ahead. Haymans shows his nose to the inside. What can he do on the brakes? Oh, he does get his nose ahead to the inside.
I think Grave braked a little bit
Oh, as Brown goes round! Brown just lost it all by himself.
A little bit early, so he did push him out naturally wide, which I think is where he broke traction, touched the curb, spun himself round. G. Brown did have a Brown moment. So unfortunately that is him out of a little bit of a fight for the time being. Car 743 in the pits.
No, it's El Prentice, who is 6 laps down.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Oh, is in the back there. Who's that?
In the back we've got Jay Mason and someone very close, a white McLaren. Ah, it's Sween that's in front. I just saw the timing of 2/10. I thought, well, who's 2/10? I was like, oh, that's Sween.
So Sween, who's very much going for the Grand Slam today. He's led basically every lap. He's got the fastest lap, and he's going for the win.
Sween is keen on the speed.
So as I flick back to P18 of Haymans, super close to the back of Grave. Grave goes deep through Farm, but then gets the inside. And then to the outside goes Haymans, who then tries to optimise his traction. He's done a great job. His first phase of the acceleration was fantastic. He's drawn right up to the back, but as he goes into the slipstream, looks like Grave has finally got the straight line speed together. Haymans shows his nose to the inside. And looks like Grave just ends him around the outside. But then being tight for Luffield isn't always ideal. So as they come through Woodcote, Haymans draws back up alongside, having taken the wider line through Luffield. As they're going to approach Copse side by side. And Haymans will want to move over to his left to optimise turn in. Oh, as they do touch, going to do Copse, how are they still going along? They're still going through Maggots and Beckett. And it looks like for now, Haymans just backs out of that.
Yeah, so the fastest lap at the moment, if anyone is interested, from Sween is a 2:06.050.
Speaking of Sween, he's approaching the man who I've just gone on board with, which is HRT Myron GT, racing for HRT. And he's being chased down by Rodriguez, the Bandidos Racing. Sween, who's doing a great job of
interrupted, buddy. Haymans side by side in club with Grave there, does take the position back. Great bit of side by side there. Just caught a glimpse of that as I was going through the pack there for some of the action.
How can Haymans hold on to this? He does seem to have found stretch his legs. away there from Grave.